from aspirin to opioids and everything in between. Benefits and side effects from drugs, making it balance, tonight on Call with the Prairie Doc.
Major funding for On Call with the Prairie Doc has been provided by
Avera is a proud sponsor of On Call on South Dakota Public Broadcasting.
Larson Manufacturing is proud to support On Call Television as it continues to open doors for important medical information. And by the South Dakota Foundation for Medical Care, the Medicare Quality Improvement Organization for South Dakota. And with the ongoing support of these individuals and institutions. Brookings Health System, Ophthalmology Limited, American Academy of Family Physicians Foundation, and South Dakota Academy of Family Physicians. Avera Heart Hospital, Dakota Allergy and Asthma, CoBank, Fishback Financial Corporation, Vance Thompson Vision, Brown Clinic.
Good evening and welcome to On Call with the Prairie Doc. Growing up, we were told, take your medicine, it's good for you. And generally, Mom was right. But we have found that even good medicines may have bad results or side effects, even if they're taken with a spoonful of sugar. First, let's take a look at this week's Prairie Doc quiz question. There are a number of possibilities for the answer to this, so name one reason for the excessive prescribing of drugs. We'll have the answer or answers later on in the program. Joining us tonight are Dr. Fatima Kidwai with the Avera Medical Group Hospitalists in Aberdeen and Dr. Dan Hansen with South Dakota State University's College of Pharmacy and Allied Health Professions. Thank you both for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
And so, something about the College of Pharmacy that just came out, Dan. I want to hear that first before we get into anything more.
Yeah, so we just found out last week that first-time pass rate for our students on the licensure examination was 100%. So 100% of our graduates passed on their first attempt. We are very proud of our history of the College of Pharmacy. There's been a number of years where we're one of the only few schools that has a 100% pass rate. And actually, if you look at the last 3 years, and combine it, 3-year average, we're #1 in the nation out of over 140 colleges of pharmacy in the United States. So rich tradition of success.
Yeah, and that's because they learned.
They learn. We start with great students. We have great faculty. We have great preceptors. We have great alumni and stakeholders, and it's a team effort. It's not any one person or any one thing. It's a team effort.
Team effort. Go Jags.
Absolutely.
All right. And Fatima, you were here maybe 2 years ago as we were talking about geriatrics. Mm-hmm. So you've got special training in geriatrics, but you're also right now a hospitalist. Explain that.
Hospitalist is it's not really a specialty, but I think I would label it that. And these are physicians who focus on caring for patients who are acutely ill and in the hospital. And the reason I did my geriatric fellowship was because most of my patients in the hospital are above 65 years of age.
Or older.
Or older. I live in South Dakota, and I know that I have very healthy 90-year-olds.
Yes.
And actually, my oldest has been a 105-year-old that I took care of. So, you know, they have their complexities. They may be in good health, but as soon as they come in the hospital, just being in the hospital and not being able to keep as active as they were at home, it affects their function, it affects their care and how they respond to that disease process. So I just felt that, you know, caring for them was a little bit more specialized and I needed more training for that. So,
well, my hat's off to you on that, because in my sense, you know, knowing geriatrics really gives you heads and shoulders above others, because the geriatricians, and that's why I invited you to be on this show, because the geriatricians people trained in geriatrics have a sense of how sensitive and how careful we must be as we prescribe medicines in the elderly in particular. But that teaches us, if it may be that you have that problem with the elderly, you don't have it so much as in the young person because they have so much buffer that they can get by with it, but they're still having those problems.
Absolutely.
So being sensitive to medications and to realize the implications of medications is what our topic is today.
Right.
And that's why we have a PharmD and a hospitalist geriatrician talking about the importance of medications, the good side and the bad side. I'd like to start with the issue of polypharmacy. I think that's one of those words that I learned as I'm training in the world of geriatrics. And I would ask, is there a time when there's too many medicines, Dan?
Absolutely, and it's not necessarily a certain number for any one person. You know, polypharmacy can be 5 or more medications, but certainly there's patients who are only on 2 or 3 medications that could be interacting with each other, and that's too many medications. And so it's not any one set number, but we really need to continue to look at the medication list and make sure that it's accurate and up to date and those types of things.
And I think polypharmacy came into because we were realizing we were treating one disease, but people had more than one disease, and our guidelines gave us only how to treat one disease. We started treating one disease separately, treating the other disease that was in the same person with different medications, instead of realizing you could have one medication that might treat both.
Right.
And then literature started looking into it and realized, well, first we need a number. How much is polypharmacy means? Is it 5 medication? Is it 10 medications? So they came down to this consensus it would be 5 medications. Now we're looking at is it appropriate 5 medications? Is it inappropriate 5 medications? Yeah. Or do they have inappropriate side effects that's causing you to add on 2 other medications to it? And in all these things we forgot that, one is prescribed medication, but there are also over-the-counter medications. There are natural pharmaceuticals, that is, medication, botanical medications, pain medications that's over-the-counter, herbal supplements, dietary supplements. Well, those are all medications.
They're all medications. They all add up?
They all add up, and they either may enhance the effect of one or, unfortunately, might cause reaction or adverse effect to the medication. Yeah. So,
I was just talking to a woman helping me sell my book at a bookstore, and she said, well, my dad just he's really struggling right now. He changed from a person who was active, had a little heart problem, and now all he can do is sit. And I said, maybe he's depressed. Well, maybe he is depressed. That could be it. Did they add any new medicines? Oh, yeah. They added a bunch of new medications, including statins, which can make a person tired and confused and weak, including the blood pressure pills that can lower a person's tolerance to any form of activity. I mean, it goes on and on.
Right.
And it takes a period of adjustment too when you start, especially that many medications. It takes time for your body to adjust and find a new normal. Whether if you're on a beta blocker and it changes your heart rate. If you're on a statin, certainly, it might change your diet due to, if grapefruit was your breakfast every morning and you can't have grapefruit juice.
It doubles or triples the dose of that medication.
Yeah, I think so. There's, and as you get older and as you add more medications, there's a greater possibility for adverse reactions. I think if you look at the stats, it says something like if you're on 5 to 9 medications, you have a 50% chance of adverse reaction. If you're on 20 medications, you have a 100% chance of adverse reaction. But that's doesn't include drug-drug interactions, drug-disease interactions, and so it gets scary fast. And then if it's an elderly population, you're worried about potential Alzheimer's or memory loss and cognitive function and some of those types of things too.
Yeah. Cognitive function.
17% of our admissions to the hospital are because of a drug reaction. If our population or our patients are 75 and above, it's 33%, all because of an adverse effect or a drug-related event that caused them to be admitted, whether that's monitoring or something else was going on. So it does affect.
I hadn't heard those numbers.
If they hadn't taken their medication correctly, that's a
Correct.
whole new category, right?
That's true.
They're on 20 medications, so they didn't.
Do you think they're
remember to
taking
take
all
it.
those 20?
Yeah.
Well, no, of course not.
Yeah.
What is the number? Isn't it something like 60% of the time people are not compliant with their medication, right?
Right. And
Across the board?
that could go all the way from they never filled their medication that the
they couldn't
doctor
afford
prescribed, right? Or they just, they got a medication and it was acute type of thing and it went away before they filled their medication, or they, got their medication and they're supposed to take it every day and they don't take it every day because they're on 3 or 20 and it's hard for them to remember, or they're supposed to take it with food and they don't take it with food, or, it's an acute type of thing like, maybe it's for asthma and it's to prevent exasperation or prevent shortness of breath or something like that, and they haven't had any episodes, so they stop taking their long-term inhaler and only use their albuterol as they need it and things like that, and so it's tough.
Or sometimes their lifestyle. I mean, they might have a night job, and the way the medications most of the time are prescribed are take morning, afternoon, and evening, while they're sleeping during the daytime.
Mm-hmm. Well,
You're
so
not gonna, so you have to see, how we are prescribed. Honestly, if you give me an antibiotic that I have to take 4 times a day, I will be non-compliant.
Taking a pill is a hard thing to do.
It's a hard thing. Sometimes I ask my patients, do you take breakfast or do you take a cupful of medications?
Sometimes that you can't. You have too many pills in the morning. It's more than you can do to have a breakfast after that. I want to say before we do anything more, I want to say this: we may badmouth a few things, a few medications here and there. I think it's important for us to talk about the side effects of medications, but we are not asking you ever to stop your medications. We're saying it's a good idea to talk to your physician or nurse practitioner or PA and say, by the way, I'm not asking for a new medication. I'm not looking for an antibiotic. I just wanted your direction. And are there any pills that I could cut back? I think those questions are important. But don't stop them on what we're saying tonight. Just let this be good fodder for discussion with your care provider. You guys agree with that?
Absolutely agree. But I will say, take ownership of your health too. Keep a list of your medication. Every time you go to your doctor, bring it up, discuss with your physician, whether that's your primary care, whether that's your specialist. Have a list, have them updated for you.
Great idea.
Everybody keeps a smartphone. My dad keeps a smartphone. He has the list on his phone. Anytime somebody has to ask, I sometimes might forget, he pulls it out, his list is always updated.
There it is. Well, and I think it's appropriate to say, can we make this list smaller?
Right.
Absolutely.
I think that should be a question you ask every time, especially if you're getting a new medication added. That should always be one of the questions you ask your healthcare practitioner. Is there something that, if I'm adding one, can I get rid of one?
Yeah.
And then also, I think that speaks to the importance of having continuous care with a general practitioner, internist, going to see that person on a regular basis, making sure that you don't, switch around a lot. But then also as you go see a specialist, making sure that your general practitioner or your internist knows
what the specialist
did. Yeah, absolutely.
And I love hearing this from the non-physician. The PharmD says you need a primary care doctor. I think that's so important. And a hospitalist, of course, you're not a primary care doctor. You take care of them when they come into the hospital, and then you send them back to their primary care. Every person should have a primary care doctor.
Absolutely, and they should see them even if they're seeing the specialist. Primary doctor is the one who's keeping tab of everything that's going on for you.
Yes, there it is.
What your cardiologist might be doing, what your nephrologist might be doing, what your ophthalmologist is doing. There's one person that you can get all your answers from.
Right, and should be the director of the care.
Absolutely, and they will be the one who are looking at, with your goals of life. Is that what really should be done?
Yeah.
Is that what is being done is what you want it done, instead of us telling you, this is what should be done and this is how it's going to be done? No, it's a teamwork, it's an ownership into you. And that's the voice that your primary care physician would be.
Take ownership. That's a beautiful point, Fatima. I love that point. Pharmacies have changed over the years. Something we are seeing more are the compounding pharmacies, Once only visited by people living a natural lifestyle, many of us have now discovered them.
I started this from scratch. We were in a different location at the time in 2000. 2001, we built out a pharmacy, a freestanding compounding pharmacy. Compounding solves problems in that we help patients get medications that that we eliminate the things that are the problem in the medication. So whether it be a color or the binder or the salt form or a preservative. I used to have a delivery card on the side that said, we make things sugar-free, alcohol-free, egg-free, dye-free, casein-free. There were like 9 things, and I can't even remember them all now. Anything that's not commercially available, we really can compound, but we have very limited windows of stability on most everything. So we're not looking for the 2-year shelf life, you know, everything's like 30 days and, you know, maybe a little bit longer. I have sat on a couple P&T committees, and sometimes the drugs that are recreated, they just make it long acting or something, like they come out with old drugs and then they just have this really high price tag on them. If I was in charge, I would have a basic salary and I would treat everybody fairly and I would try to bring the cost of my drugs down. You know, like insulin, I just saw an insulin analogy, like when it came out, it was like $20 a vial. Now it's like $500 to $700 a vial of insulin. And some people can't afford their insulin. Patients in general can grasp onto generics. Again, I'm an advocate of generic drugs because the drugs usually have been out a very long time. They are just then made in the generic form. The brand has had its patent life and is done. But a generic drug actually is always cheaper. You know, there's a lot of things patients can do, but they just need to be more aware and be more active, like exercise, and don't expect a pill to take care of everything. You know, have a healthier lifestyle, eat better food, cut your salt and fats down, and, you know, just be more proactive for your own health. I feel like nutrition is the best source of health. You know, I own a pharmacy. I own a retail pharmacy. I had a regular retail prescription medications, but I've always teamed nutrition with that.
Well, having discovered Sherry Kramer and her pharmacy, compounding pharmacy in the Sioux Falls area, you know, she has a tremendous knowledge base, and it's a wonderful thing, and I've leaned on her. I'll give you an example. There's a medicine called Creon. That's the brand name. Creon is the generic, it's the generic form is pancreatic enzymes. It's amylase, it's protein, carbohydrate, and sugar breakdown enzymes. They've had them for 1,000 years. It's been available for many, many years. I remember prescribing a month's supply of medicine for $20, $30 or something like that. Someone came along and either bought up the companies that were building or who were making the generics, or they proved that it worked like we needed it to be proved so they can patent it. So it's $850 for a month's supply now. My insurance covers about half of that. So it's $250, $300 for me to buy a pill that it used to be $30 a month supply. Through Sherry, I've been able to get it a lot less expensive. It's a different version. And I think that that kind of option needs to be highlighted, and I'm thanking her for that, and I'm encouraging people to explore options. One option is mail order. People talk about ordering from Canada, for example. What's your take on that, you two?
You have to be careful. First, a shout out to Sherry. She's an alum of our program.
Oh, is she?
Has helped us a lot in our pharmaceutics lab and helping teach our students how to properly make different medications and compound medications. And so she's done a lot to help our students. So she's one of the stakeholders and alums that I mentioned earlier. But, you know, patients really have to be careful. You know, I'd be the first to agree that medications are way too expensive, and there's a lot of different reasons for that. But I think the last thing you want to do is order medications from another country over the internet. There's no guarantee of authenticity. Oftentimes it might be the correct product that it is, but you don't know what the actual milligram strength is, or what the purity is, or what else is in that tablet. Right. You don't know where it was made. And so there's so many risks associated with getting your medications outside of a licensed pharmacy here in the United States.
And there's a real advantage to also having a local pharmacy.
Absolutely. A pharmacist who knows you. You know, I'm a retail pharmacist by trade, and I find no greater joy in practicing in the community setting than getting to know my patients, seeing their children grow up, having them come to my pharmacy one day ill and come the next time healthier and feeling better, developing that long-term relationship, having one place where all your medications, you talked earlier about having your medication list. You know, if that patient doesn't have it, if they've went to one pharmacy the whole time, that clinic can call and say, what's the medication list?
What's that character taken?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I have a little bit different take on this, and I was a strong believer in what you thought a few years ago till I went to a conference and we were talking about these medications. The point is that sometimes these people are on so many medications they can't afford it. So what they do, they make choices, which medication they should be taking one time and what medication they should be taking another time. Sometimes the blood pressure medication changes cost. It may be the same medication that at one retail may be a different price, and at the other retail it may be a different price. So I used to strongly discourage my patients from shopping around for medications, and now I am on the other end. I tell them, if you do need help, come to me. At this conference, they gave us some name for some safe pharmacies out of Canada where you do get it cheaper. Talk to your primary care provider. They can guide you. We all want our patients to take medications. But if your local pharmacy is expensive, with all due respect to them, the patient still needs medication, still needs help. So how can we bridge that gap? How can we help them? If we keep that channel open, patients will at least come to me and tell me, I'm getting this medication from here, and I can assess it's a safe place or not, or I can guide them where the safe place is.
Do you know the name of one of those pharmacies in Canada?
Not at this time, though.
I thought I'd just ask. Just asking. Yeah. You know, I know of a gentleman who's from Canada who had severe lung disease, and I'm his doctor, so I prescribed him an inhaler. Of course, inhalers were generically available, and they went down, the prices went down. Now they've, whatever it was, however they fixed it, the doggone pharmaceutical industry, which I have no love for right now.
Right.
Now it's huge price. And of course, who pays for them but, okay, well, the insurance companies. Well, this guy didn't have any insurance, so he ordered it from Canada. And he got good inhalers, worked just as well, or just as poorly, because he had such severe lung disease. But the long and the short of it is, there are places that are decent. Where can you find that list of decent Canada pharmacies?
I think there are websites where you can go. I have a whole website where they keep updating these
It's a
pharmacies.
website, Hospitalist?
It's a pharmaceutical website that I used to use when I was in the primary care setting.
Okay.
Now I'm a hospitalist, so you know, my pharmacist would help me figure out where the cheapest is, or you know, we would use coupons like GoodRx and others trying to figure out which retail would be.
We should not be having
We should not be doing this, but at the end I have to provide medication for that. And I want to keep that communication open between myself and my patient, that they're open enough they can tell me, I'm getting it from this place, can you help me find it at some other place?
I would just caution that,
Be cautious.
you know, for every one good one, there's 100 really bad ones.
Really bad ones.
And just because you see on an internet website that it's a legitimate pharmacy, or that they authenticize their drugs, or any of those types of things, doesn't mean it's true. And so
Be careful.
Be careful.
Be careful, but keep that communication open. Keep your primary involved so that they're not finding it by discovery something bad happened, is that you're getting your medications from sources that are not as clear.
Yes.
Right.
So I was thinking about the mail order story, and a recent study or a recent story that I heard was of looking at the contents of supplements that are used for weight gain, weight strengthening, muscle builders, and macho guy looking for improved sexual thing. Now, there's a lot of people that who get these mail orders things. You can get stronger, or you can be sexually, hanging in there a lot better than you if you just mail order this type of thing. And it's a supplement, and it says it's this.
Right.
And the answer is the study showed it was a lot of other things.
Well, and it's not proven, right? I mean, you have, all these different types of supplements, that are supposedly going to boost your testosterone and all these miracle things. And first off, and this is true for prescription medications too, there's no magic pill for anything, right? Sherry talked a little bit about diet and exercise and nutrition.
There it is. That's our best option.
One of the things you can always say is you can't out-exercise a bad diet, right? And so you have to it starts with a good diet, drinking plenty of water, exercise, nutrition, get your vitamins a natural way, and certainly if you need to supplement, you can based off of that. But everybody's looking for a quick fix, and there isn't one. Whether that's for trying to get stronger or more athletic, or trying to help control your hypertension or high blood pressure or high cholesterol or any of those types of things. It takes a commitment, and it's something that's long term. It's not short term, and there's no quick or easy fix, whether you're trying to lose 5 pounds or lower your blood pressure 10 points.
So Fatima, I'm going to ask you this. I'm going to make this statement. Tell me if you agree that almost every advertised promotional supplement for dementia or memory or for strengthening or for sexual enhancement or weight loss, for the most part, is baloney. Do you agree?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Just don't waste your money on that. They're fraudulent. You agree with that, Dan?
100%, yeah.
Keep active, eat healthy. Whatever money you're going to spend on buying all these supplements, put that money into buying fresh vegetables, fresh fruits, get a membership to a gym. No matter what age you are, if you keep active, that's going to be the best aging you will do.
And they talk about, for memory, that it's a good idea to do puzzles and to keep your brain active and that kind of a thing. And I think that's a reasonable thing. But I've read that the most challenging mental activity that one can do, the hardest and most nuanced and difficult puzzle that we can do every day is called a conversation with a friend.
Yes, a face-to-face or phone conversation.
A one-to-one conversation is the best thing.
Not a Facebook conversation.
No, not a Facebook. A verbal.
Yeah, not a Snapchat.
No,
it's an actual conversation.
Oh, I'm glad you added that.
Something we're losing out completely, I think, is that social interaction.
The people that are being friended on social media have less friends. Unfortunately. Real friends. I mean, people that they know that they can interact with.
Real relationships.
Real relationships.
Right.
But it can be a bridge to keeping the families connected too.
True.
Because everybody's not at the same place. So for your elderly mother, if you're in California, that is a bridge.
Yes, it is.
That keeps the conversation and communication going on instead of once a year visit. But I agree, going out there talking is the best thing they can do. So.
A good coffee group that meets at 10 o'clock at Cook's Kitchen. How can you beat that?
Solves all the world's problems.
Yeah. I talk to those people because that's where I go to write a lot of times, and you go, have you solved it? Oh, we've got it. They've got the answer to the world problem. One of the things that I wanted to emphasize here is the major side effect that can occur from medications called falling. Falling in the elderly in particular can cause great harm. Fractured hips and fractured bones sometimes brings a person out of an active life into in the nursing home. And it's not that I'm saying nursing homes are bad or long-term care facilities are bad. I'm saying that it's good not to fall. And so there are a lot of medications. I bet we can go around the room. Let's just go. I'm going to start with a medication. I'm going to ask you to, and I'm prepared. I got them all listed here, so to put you on the spot. But one of the biggest culprits that I run into are sleeping pills.
Absolutely.
The benzodiazepine groups, the tranquilizer sleeping pills, bad actors. Your turn.
First generation antihistamine, Benadryl.
Benadryl.
Everybody feels that that's going to help them sleep. What we forget to realize is our body is changing. And we're finding out about medications, it's not safe. So Benadryl is absolutely not safe.
Verboten for anybody older than 65.
Older than 65.
If you have an allergy, use cetirizine, you know, and
Right, the second.
Not
Absolutely.
only the drowsiness, but the dizziness, and then it causes
cognitive.
urinary retention and
All sorts of geriatric syndrome.
From the
falls,
Benadryl.
Yeah.
incontinence, cognitive impairment. You know, those are the big ones we look in our older age. All
avoid the
caused by
Benadryl. Use the cetirizine, which is Zyrtec.
Second generation, so Zyrtec.
It makes you a little sleepy. You can use that at night. What else about, for sleep instead, by the way, before we go around the room on falling? Melatonin?
I think, you know, you certainly try melatonin, but, you know, it doesn't work for everybody. But also looking at your caffeine, right? I mean, if you are going to 3 different coffee groups,
you might be
coffee late into the evening.
Yeah.
How does that affect you, and some of those types of things? And so I think looking at your diet and your habits and some of those types of things are important too.
Good sleep hygiene.
Yes.
What we teach our kids, we train them when they were 2-year-old, is how do you train them for sleep?
Yeah.
We train them, go to bed at the same time. We just forget it as we get older.
Yes.
Right.
All right, now we're on a tangent. I want to go back to falling. Dan, it's your turn. What drugs do you...
Opioids.
The opioids.
Certainly.
Certainly. Any of those, the anti-seizure groups for pain medicines as well.
Yep.
So I'm going to throw another one in there. The drugs that we use for bladder control. Those are tough. They cause falls. They drop blood pressures. And certainly the men who use the prostate drugs that give you, the Hitrin-like drugs, also just drop the blood pressure when you stand up at night.
Your blood pressure medications.
Yeah.
So blood pressure medications, I want to highlight that. Think about the fact that they came in to see me. This is, I can see this man, this case is so perfect. Comes in, he's got 180 over 90 blood pressure, right? And I'm going, whoa. That blood pressure pill that I started last time is not doing the trick. And he said, that's right. I mean, it's really high. And the other problem is I've been falling lately. What? You're falling? So you check his blood pressure when he stands up, and it's 90 over 40. He's 180 sitting there, and it's 90 systolic when he stands up. So the last thing, I mean, it's much more dangerous to have them fall than it is to try to control a blood pressure that's elevated.
But then if they're on a beta blocker, like metoprolol or something like that, and they have diabetes and it's masking, potential to mask some of their hypoglycemia symptoms and a whole host of other things too.
Oh, it goes on and on and on.
Yeah.
Falling is a problem from drugs. And so if you're falling, the first thing you do is you find your doctor, your nurse practitioner, or PA, and you say, I am falling. Could it be one of these medications? How do we keep our children and other family and friends safe from ingesting a poison or overdosing on prescribed medications? The Poison Control Office has some recommendations.
If you call the poison control number from South Dakota, the 1-800-222-1222 number, that call is automatically routed into Minneapolis to the Hennepin Regional Poison Center. The staff there answer the call as Sanford Poison Center because they know it's coming from the state of South Dakota. Our current involvement with them is we do a lot of education within the state. We partner with them on getting statistics for poisonings, trying to come up with new prevention guidelines or new prevention strategies. The Poison Center receives about a little over 6,700 calls in 2017. And of those 6,700 calls, that was in a year, over half of those were from a private residence. And the rest were from businesses or medical centers calling when a patient comes into the emergency room, how to treat them. Over half that originated from a private residence. Over half of those, or actually almost 60% of those, involved a child under the age of 5. We recommend walking room by room on your hands and knees and just kind of looking to see how high you can reach, what they might pull off. In addition to ingesting things, they can also knock stuff down on top of them. There's a significant number of kids have been injured by flat screen TVs falling on them. So get down and actually get that kid's point of view. This is a bottle of Clorox. This is a jug of milk. A 2-year-old probably doesn't know the difference. And if this is sitting on a counter, probably not going to swallow it. But they're probably going to reach for it. And if they reach for it and the cap isn't tight, it could spill onto them, it could fall onto the floor, it could hurt them, it could splatter onto the floor, and then they're stuck in that product. So, out of sight, out of reach, locked up. This is Pine Sol, something you don't want to drink. This is apple juice, something kids want to drink. If they're sitting like this, a child's not, even a 5 or 6-year-old may not notice that. So you want to, again, Pine Sol, other cleanings, lock it up, out of sight, out of reach.
We see a host of various poisonings come through the emergency department. It's split up between, a lot of times there are patients that intentionally try to harm themselves by taking too many of their medications. And then also we see a fair number of children who have inadvertently got into another person's medications. It could be an adult, a parent, a grandparent, another one in the home where the child is at. So that comprises a lot of the poisonings we see. So one thing that we strongly encourage is if you're prescribed a medication that you no longer need, if an acute injury is over, is to dispose of those medications in an appropriate manner. And one of the big things is you can take the medications to an authorized take-back center and they will dispose of the medications in a safe, effective way to keep those medications off the street and they could potentially get into the hands of people that could use them for recreational purposes.
Thank you again for listening. That was very interesting. Poison control, and unfortunately, or that we have it, but it's out of Minneapolis, and we thank Sanford System for helping support it. Yep. Any other comments about poison control? You use it like 4 times a week, you say?
It's sad, but yes, I call them pretty often. I have to call them 3 or 4 times a week for my older patient who might have taken medications unintentionally, for my younger patients who would have taken it intentionally.
Yes.
Sometimes it can be accidental, but my 2 unintentional and intentional are much more higher.
And I would just say, as a parent of 4 little kids, making sure that you use child safety bottles and make sure you keep your medications out of reach. If you're going to a grandparent's house or something like that, make sure that they're keeping medications out of reach. All those types of things. When you're not no longer using a medication, making sure it's being disposed of properly so that people aren't at risk of getting it who shouldn't have it.
That reminds me of the child poisoning story 25 years ago, and it's changed, I think, and that is that iron was the most common killer of children, poisoner of children. Is that still the case?
I don't even know. I couldn't even
You don't
tell
know the
you.
answer, and you don't know the answer either. So it's interesting to me that, of course, that's an over-the-counter supplement, or just an iron supplement, and it's needed in many cases. A lot of women, in particular, women who are in the childbearing age, and yet that's a dangerous poison.
Right. One of the poisons, though, is Tide Pods, right?
Oh yes,
Oh,
the
Tide.
Tide Pod
Tide
challenge.
Pods, yeah.
That's the
Not
new
Tide
challenge.
Pods. We're not talking Thailand
Laundry
or anything.
detergent.
The laundry
We're talking
detergent
Tide.
that comes.
Tide Pods,
Yeah.
yes.
So what do you know about that? I mean, have you seen people in the hospital with Tide
I
Pod?
have not. I don't take care of young patients in the hospital if they come in,
More
so
ER
probably.
types of things,
Yeah.
but they look like candy, and so if they're accessible to kids, they're
Kids
prone
will-
to pop them in their mouth.
Or,
Yeah.
or
It was kind of a challenge on the
Oh,
internet
macho
too.
people going, ooh, this tastes terrible.
It is laundry detergent.
It's laundry detergent. You know, we shouldn't be trying to
Yes.
Right.
do that. There's some danger there too.
But to prevent poisoning, that's why the department enforcement agency, the one that regulates your medication, says for opioids, you should be flushing them as soon as you don't have any use for them.
DEA, yeah, and actually, it's actually National DEA Take Back Day on October 27th, so it's coming
Right.
up here.
You can bring it to the police
I
department.
would always say the first way to get rid of it is to go to a take back program. You know, whether that's most communities, either their sheriff's office or their police departments will be a place where you can take back medications. Many community pharmacies you can take back medications. They'll have disposal sites. I would always say that's the first place, no matter what
rather
the
than
medication
flushing?
is.
I've
If
heard
you
that
remember
it-
10 or 15 years ago, there was a study that talked about fish on Prozac, and it went into our water system. And this is getting the city councilor hat on me, but it's tough for our water treatment plants to catch those medications when we do
But
flush
I think
them
on the
down.
DEA website,
Right.
it does talk about, and the
Flushing.
medication that I looked at, the group I looked at, that they encourage flushing. And I think what their take on it is that if these are left around, the danger to a human
Right.
or a
It's
person is
greater.
much higher
Yeah.
than what it is to
There's
the
15 classes of medications that they say to flush, but the first choice is always to take them back to a take-back
Absolutely.
program.
I-
And then if you throw them away, you're supposed to put them in like kitty litter or dirt or something like that in a
coffee
bag.
grounds.
Yeah, so that
Coffee
in a
grounds
Ziploc
will
bag,
destroy
in a
them.
Ziploc and
Yeah,
and
they'll get
making
buried.
sure when you throw your bottles away, you get rid of any personal information that's on there and things
Yeah.
like that as well, from a personal identity theft and things like that.
Yeah, if I can remember, since I had had a Whipple surgery and it was kind of a tough recovery and there was a fair amount of narcotics, which was not a good experience, I want you to know. I was so glad to get off of them. But I can tell you, to get rid of them in a family where you've got a middle son that's a nurse, a wife that's a nurse, a husband that's a doctor, we're at the highest risk for narcotic abuse. So, I mean,
Access.
right into the coffee grounds is where they went with me.
And it's just not overdose. I think it prevents, because how often would you see a family member taking away the medications?
Yeah.
So it's keeping them safe, also removing that accessibility of that group of medications. So-
Removing the accessibility, that's it, that's what you said. We had people in the back room asking about, and this is a night we're recording because as South Dakota Public Broadcasting is doing football. And so we're recording, and we have students to do cameras, which is so appreciated, you guys. Thank you so much. So we're recording, and it will be shown sometime in the spring, I think. In May, actually, we're scheduled for May. You'll be seeing this in May. But the value of having students here, and I forgot what I was going to say in the first place. What was that? It was, I'm taking too many narcotics with me. No. Oh, the cost of drugs. And that we have questions coming from the back room, and the cost of drugs is one of the questions they were having. We should address a little bit more. Why is it in this country the cost is so high? Why is it that this is happening? Why do we spend $350, $400, $500 for an EpiPen that's really $1's worth of ingredients? Do you have a good answer for that, Dan?
No, a good answer.
Pharmaceutical
Yeah,
industry.
I mean, it's not anything that people, I don't think in general, don't know. I mean, you look at pharmaceutical industry, they are for-profit companies, right? They have shareholders, they have
And that's what they're
expectations
doing.
of profit. That's part of it. I would also say that, research and development, for every one drug that comes to the market, 1,000 others have failed. And so, they do have to pay for some of that. We don't have price controls here in the United States. Other countries do. There's pros and cons to that, certainly.
Well, and there's also the terrible cost of lobbying in Washington.
Oh, yeah.
It's the most expensive lobby in Washington. You know, this is my soapbox. Physicians promise, we're gonna act ethically. The patient is centered. We will do what we can for the patient. We're going to do the right thing. We promise not to do harm. We're going to benefit the patient. We're going to always be honest, and we're going to respect their right for choices. We have promised to follow ethical principles. The pharmacy industry also has patients who are dependent on their being ethical, and they are not being ethical. This should be a call. We should all demand our pharmaceutical industry to look at costs. They should solve this problem. They should be looking at what they're doing and promoting their narcotics. We're still, the numbers are rising.
Oh.
This is a call. This is a medicine show right now, tonight. We're talking medicine. Pharmacy, get your act together.
Yeah, and I think it's it goes all the way down to the way insurance companies handle reimbursement, and how they decide on different tiers of medications is based on manufacturer kickback sometimes, and not always what's the best medication for the patient. And so, one proton pump inhibitor might be $60 and the other one might be $10, all because of what happens behind the scenes and
behind the scenes stuff.
Right. And so I always go back to, certainly a physician plays a role in that too, but the pharmacist, talking to your pharmacist about, what's the price of this medication, is there a generic available? The pharmacist can contact the provider and see if there's, ability to change from one medication to the other that's in a similar class or the same class that's much cheaper. Sometimes switching from a long-acting agent that's once a day to something that's taken twice a day could make a big difference, because the long-acting one's still name brand and the twice-a-day one is generic. So there are options. So I think working with your physician, working with your pharmacist, and trying to see, what's out there and if there are ways to save money is important too.
And I misspoke. I said pharmacy, get your act together. Pharmaceutical industry, get your act together.
I knew what you meant.
Pharmacy's doing great. Pharmacies are important, and they do great, and we
the
appreciate
tough thing for the
pharmacy.
pharmacy is we're the middle person, right?
You're caught in the middle.
Right.
So
You're caught in the middle, absolutely. The other thing I think I always get back from my patients is, they want brand names without realizing the active ingredient in the brand name is going to be the same that's in generic.
Yes.
And the benefit is going to be the same, the effect is going to be the same,
It's actually usually made by the same company.
Absolutely, absolutely, you're right.
It is.
It is. So what we're paying for their brand name is, I agree we're paying for their research, I agree we're paying for their innovation, but if that medication has been out in the market for 30 years,
it shouldn't be
it
expensive.
shouldn't be expensive at all.
You think about, I mentioned that they're often the ones making the generic medication. The patent system is part of the reason to blame for the cost of medications too. They get exclusive rights on a patent system, but then they get the first rights on the generic too. So a lot of times they are making the generic plus the name brand, and then the trick for a while was to get it to go over the counter, right? So they could extend the patent. You look at Prilosec, that was about to expire on the patent, and then they got it to go over the counter. So then they extended the patent for over-the-counter medications, and insurance companies wouldn't cover the prescription Prilosec anymore because you could buy it over the counter. And then they were making that, and so it's a mess. It's a messy system.
We've got 10 seconds each for a final word.
I think for cost.
For anything.
For anything. I think, just remember that healthcare is a team. Work with your physician, have a internist and a general practitioner, work with your pharmacy, and really make sure that you use all members of your team to get optimum healthcare.
And one word?
It's your health. You have to be involved in that discussion. Don't shy away from discussing your physician, your pharmacist. What is your issue with the medication?
Take responsibility.
Take responsibility. Again, keep the communication open.
And now for the answer to tonight's Prairie Doc quiz question. Name one reason for the excessive prescribing of drugs. You had lots of options with this question. Some of the possible answers include care providers wish to satisfy their patient. It is often quicker and easier for the care provider than explaining why no drug is prescribed. Care providers are pressured by healthcare protocols that advise another pill. The pharmaceutical industry excessively promotes their drugs. The patient pressures the care provider for the pill they saw advertised. The patient wants a pill for their effort of coming to the doctor or care provider. A lot more than that. We'll be right back after this.
For more than 16 years, the Prairie Doc organization has endeavored to enhance health and diminish suffering by providing useful information based on honest science in a respectful and compassionate manner. Prairie Doc physicians and health professionals continue to answer your questions each week, creating a vast Prairie Doc library of medical information available to you and your family 24 hours a day. Make sure you don't miss a thing. Follow the Prairie Doc on Facebook and YouTube for free and easy access to the entire Prairie Doc library.
Every physician and care provider who has been practicing for a while can tell you stories of people who were hospitalized with an unknown illness and who were cured by reducing the medicines they were taking. A daughter once brought her increasingly confused and failing elderly father into the clinic to see me. He had been living in a Minneapolis nursing home, was taking a shoebox of medicines prescribed by multiple and different VA providers. The daughter asked if there were any changes that might help. She was elated when I dropped the pill count down from 20 to 6. In 2 weeks, he returned to the clinic remarkably improved. Following that move to Brookings, he enjoyed something like 3 good years of life in an assisted living center with his daughter's family nearby until a rather quick death came following an infection. The daughter told me that after stopping all those pills, her father changed from being a zombie back to the living world again, reading newspapers, hanging with new friends, playing pinochle, attending church, and going out to dinner with his family. Medications are overprescribed in this country, and there are many reasons for this culture of pills. Care providers are being pressured to follow healthcare protocols, which are basically recipes for care. These recipes are an attempt to improve quality, but often do the opposite and encourage adding more pills when unnecessary. Other causes include excessive prescribing by the specialists that are also seeing the patient, the time limits that care providers are allowed with patients and their overzealous wish to satisfy those patients, the pharmaceutical industry's excessive promotional efforts, including their direct-to-public advertising, which is not allowed in most other countries, and the patient's desire for an easy pill rather than a tougher lifestyle change. Healthcare protocols, the physicians, the pharmaceutical industry, and the patients are all to blame for the burden of polypharmacy that has taken hold of our country. Medications can sometimes be helpful and sometimes harmful. It should be a careful, well-trained, and considerate care provider, not a protocol or an advertising campaign that determines when a new medicine should be started. Please do not stop any medicine you are presently taking. However, every time you see your care provider, start with a statement that you're not seeking another medicine unless it's necessary, and ask if there are any medicines that can be stopped. We truly thank you both for your volunteer work tonight. Thank you. Well, that does it for tonight. From all of us here at On Call with the Prairie Doc. Until next time, stay healthy out there, people.
Useful, scientific-based medical information delivered in a respectful and compassionate manner. This is what we get from the Prairie Docs. I am proud to serve on the board of the Healing Words Foundation. Our nonprofit organization works behind the scenes building financial support to continue and expand Prairie Doc programs. We thank the many health providers who volunteer their time to answer our health questions. Significant funding is required to produce and distribute video, radio, and print throughout the region. Your donations will help the Foundation continue to offer free and easy access to the entire library of Prairie Doc health education programs. I grew up with Rick Holm on the prairies in DeSmet. On behalf of the Healing Words Foundation,
And on behalf of a lifelong friend,
we invite you to join our mission. Go to prairiedoc.org and click the donate button today. Thank you.
Major funding for On Call with the Prairie Doc has been provided by
Avera is a proud sponsor of On Call on South Dakota Public Broadcasting.
Larson Manufacturing is proud to support On-Call Television as it continues to open doors for important medical information.
And by the South Dakota Foundation for Medical Care, the Medicare Quality Improvement Organization for South Dakota.
and with ongoing support of these individuals and institutions,
the Brookings Health System,
Ophthalmology Limited,
the American Academy of Family Physicians Foundation and South Dakota Academy of Family Physicians,
Avera Heart Hospital,
the Dakota Allergy and Asthma,
CoBank,
Fishback Financial Corporation,
Vance Thompson Vision,
Urology Specialists,
Brown Clinic,
Black Hills Medical Society,
Aberdeen District Medical Society,
the 3rd District Medical Society,
7th District Medical Society,
Dakota Bank,
Orthopedic Institute,
Physicians Care Sanford Clinic Community Service Committee,
Aberdeen Asthma and Allergy,
and Swift Telecommunications.